The race for Senate will be one of the key races in the Texas primary. We want to help you learn more about the candidates now. Joining us is Democratic candidate Royce West. Welcome.
Josh, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you very much.
Great.
Appreciate you being here. You've represented the Dallas area in the Texas Senate since 1993.
Correct.
Folks there know about your records, but what do you want voters across the state to know?
What I want them to know is that I've been a leader in areas of education, criminal justice, health and human services, issues concerning the border, women's issues, climate change issues, across the board issues that Democrats care about, citizens care about, I've led on. And the other piece is this: when you begin to think about the experience factor and the support factor, I want them to know that of the 12 Democratic senators that we have, 10 of them, including myself, support my candidacy for the United States Senate. And of the 67 House members that are Democrats, 49 support my candidacy for the United States Senate. What that says is that in all probability, most of the leadership that has been elected by Democrats in this state that will form the basis of the Democratic primary, those persons that they've elected recognize what I've done, my experience factor, and is supportive of me.
A lot of experience and support. One of the top issues for Texas voters, though, is health care. What would you do as a senator to provide affordable health care?
Well, I think, first of all, we've got to figure out who the president's going to be, because the president will lead from that. But you can be assured that what I will make certain of is that pre-existing conditions are one of the provisions that we'll have. We will improve on the Obamacare legislation. I'm still a person that believes that if a person wants to have choice in terms of health care, they should be able to have that. Persons who want to be able to get involved in a government-sponsored program should be able to do that.
Now, you've said if elected, you would work on immigration reform. What does that mean to you? What would change?
Well, first of all, I want to, in terms of comments on the DACA issue that's present right now, and we've heard that some of the pundits talk about exactly how the Supreme Court took the arguments yesterday, and I understand that there's some comments out by the president basically saying that all DACA persons are criminals. Come on, Mr. President. Please stop the vicious rhetoric. Those kids that are involved in the DACA program are kids that have done everything that they needed to do here in this country, and we've got to find a way to make certain that they stay in this country. And that may very well end up being a legislative solution. So if the president's not going to do it by executive order, then we need to figure out a way to get it done. That's number one. In terms of the border itself, we need to make certain that we have adjudication, have more judges down there, put more resources so we can adjudicate the asylum claims.
Now, right after you announced your campaign, Senator Cornyn launched an attack ad targeting you specifically on your record on abortion rights and gun control. Do you think your views on those issues match up with the beliefs of most Texans? I do.
The fact of the matter is when you go back to 1993, I've been an advocate in terms of trying to balance the Second Amendment with, common sense gun laws when Ann Richards was governor. And I supported then, as I do now, a ban on assault weapons. We saw the Supreme Court recently say that a lawsuit based on Sandy Hook, the manufacturers of those guns in Sandy Hook can now go forward. We've seen Colt and other manufacturers talk about no longer manufacturing assault weapons. So we've seen a change in this country, and we've seen a change also in this state based on the number of mass shootings we've had. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that having this type of legislation would have prevented those mass shootings, but the reality is that we have to take some initiatives, some steps that are consistent with common sense gun laws and still maintaining the intent of the Second Amendment.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little more specifically. On guns, a lot of people do want action, but divisions in Congress have stopped progress on any legislation like you talk about. What would you do specifically to get results?
Well, I mean, the reality is I would support a ban on assault weapons. I would do that. I would support background checks, red flag laws. I'd support all of those things. Cornyn has not done that. And, I think he's out of step with most Texans on that issue. We'll find out very soon.
Now, the ideas that you've laid out are similar to some of the ideas we're hearing from other Democratic candidates. What makes you the best candidate to face Senator Cornyn?
Well, the reality is this: it's not like I've just started talking about these solutions, okay? I have been talking about and taking action towards trying to implement them since 1993 through legislation and through attempting to make certain my colleagues on both sides of the aisle would be comfortable with it, and more people are becoming comfortable with these. So I would make certain that I would be consistent in terms of reaching across the aisle as best possible once I'm elected to U.S. Senator, to make sure we have common sense gun laws.
Senator, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
All right, that'll do it.
Okay.